Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Yes, you've tuned into The Real Story. And I got to thank you for coming back. That's right, it's good to have you back. Welcome to The Real Story. This is where we can maybe look at things in different lights or perspectives so that somehow, analytically, we can maybe pull some truth out of the lies, the buffet of lies that we're constantly fed. You know, like, here, have some more lies, it's weapons of mass destruction. Have some more lies, it was guys in caves. Have some more lies, it's humanitarian to bomb people in Libya. Yeah, you know, what's next? Oh, the way to save the country is to give the banks more money. Man, I'll tell you, the Sharon Board of Health has done a great job of fluoridating the water in Sharon. You know, people think it's humanitarian now to bomb Libya. I guess that works for them, huh? So, with that in mind, what do we have for you tonight? I wanted some of the Sports Nuts fans in particular, and even those two young men who do the sports show, to consider an old sport player, someone, a famous sporty guy, Dr. Sport himself, Mr. Sportman, a sportsman, a real true sportsman, a true American. His name was Pat Tillman. We should remember him just like we should remember the gentleman who we have a clock for up in Sharon. Why? Because 9/11 kind of got into that, didn't it? Well, anyway, here we go. We're going to look into what's with Pat Tillman. And also, let's not forget, because we got to sell warriors that they're Americans. Yarr, gung-ho, bomb them to the Stone Age. Shock and awe. Shock. And we also had, who else? We had Jessica Lynch. She was a Rambo with a, with a mini skirt. She was a Rambo with a bra. She was like Sarah Palin. Give her an automatic weapon and watch those, Arab Muslim people run away because we got tough American chicks we're going to send over there, going to kick your butts. So here we go. I would start off with a question. I know that was a windy intro, but how do you sell a war? How do you keep people invested in a war? It costs them money, in this case, money they don't have. You've heard of deficit spending. You know there's a ceiling, right? What theater? Yeah, they make money from nothing, but there's a debt ceiling. It's not the ceiling, folks. It's the debt. So anyway, yeah, how can you sell people war? How can you keep a war going? How about a war hero? Have you ever had one of those before? Did you ever triumphantly return? They built the Arc of Triomphe in France. The great triumphant French people could march on through, huh? What are we doing? We're going through the Arc of Triomphe. That's like going to Banff. Why is it important to have a war hero? We stopped worrying about whether or not the war was based on lies. Guys in caves. Thank the Sharon Board of Health once again. They've been feeding you so much fluoride, you bought the guys in caves thing. Oh, that just kills me. All right, so anyway, here you go. Here's a little bit of video just so you understand some of the Jessica Lynch story. There you go, because you remember Jessica? She was rescued.
The image of war is now created by military and political powers. Television's job is to translate it into mythology. Everybody remembers Jessica Lynch, the 19-year-old private captured in an ambush and rescued by American Special Forces. The story started like this.
With that, I'll take your questions. Tom.
Brooks, we noticed that you made no mention of the rescue of Jessica Lynch and the special operations that went on. We understand that there is video taken by a combat camera team. Can you show us that video?
We did have the opportunity to have a combat camera crew with the assault force, and we'll show you only the portion that has a PFC Lynch being retrieved. Do we have the tape?
Incredibly, the cassette was already cued in the VCR.
It was in the Saddam Hospital in Al-Nasiriyah.
And the commentary was prepared.
We were successful in that operation last night and did retrieve PFC Jessica Lynch, bringing her away from that location of danger.
This single video clip, produced and directed by the Army, is the only document of Private Lynch's rescue, the basis of a story that developed over 7 months.
Sources say
ABC the same day.
Extraction, which means Army Rangers would secure the perimeter of the
TV runs with the story with a dramatic 3D animation based on unnamed sources.
To the waiting Black Hawk helicopter.
It was an Iraqi
CBS the same day.
military post that had been Lynch's uncomfortable home for 10 long days. We've just arrived here at Saddam Hospital.
It was here she lay suffering from 2 broken legs, a broken arm, and multiple gunshot wounds, being treated not by a doctor, but by an Iraqi pharmacist.
Now it's serious wounds and incompetent doctors. CBS doesn't name their sources either.
The Pentagon says she is the first American prisoner of war to be rescued from hostile territory since World War II.
The headline in the Washington Post, she was fighting to the death. In it, Private First Class Lynch is portrayed as a kind of Rambo. The source, U.S. officials.
April 12th. Jessica Lynch is a certified hero and a media celebrity. 600 articles have been written about her. Television networks compete for an interview. MTV offers her a show. Her agent negotiates a $1 million book deal, and NBC prepares a television movie, Saving Private Lynch.
It's very important to us as Americans to bring back our fellow soldiers. But most importantly is to bring back somebody like Private First Class Lynch, who was risking her life on the battlefield.
1 month later, journalists arrive at Saddam Hospital without a military escort. Their investigation turns the story on its head.
Private Lynch hadn't been shot in a firefight, as earlier reports suggested.
ABC, May 7th.
She appeared to have broken her leg when her truck overturned. An orthopedic surgeon who was due to set Private Lynch's broken leg the following morning says U.S. soldiers put a gun to his head as they burst into the operating room.
We started shouting, "We are doctors, don't shoot."
The hospital staff says there were no Iraqi troops on the premises when the Americans rushed in. They had all left the morning before the rescue. The soldiers broke down doors in the intensive care unit when they could have just asked where she was. Private Lynch has yet to give her own account of her captivity here or her rescue. She remains in seclusion at the Army's Walter Reed Hospital, reportedly suffering from amnesia.
And also,
June 17th, the Washington Post revises its original story. Does it make any difference? No. The myth of Jessica is stronger than the facts.
Thank you for being here.
July 21st, Private Lynch is decorated for bravery.
She is just 20 years old. But Jessica Lynch comes home with the experience of a long, painful journey.
I would like to say thank you to everyone who hoped and prayed for my safe return.
Whether or not she will be able to remember that time period.
1 month later, she retires from the Army and takes up a media career. November 9, NBC airs the telefilm Saving Jessica Lynch. In light of its serious nature, there are no commercial breaks. Variety calls it Mission Impossible but Real. November 11th, Veterans Day.
It is clear that Ms. Lynch has been taken into many American hearts. She's done her first television
Her book is published. ABC wins the scoop of Jessica's first interview.
So just to get this clear.
Yeah.
Did you fire your weapon back and did you kill any Iraqis?
No. No. My weapon did jam and I did not shoot.
Even Jessica admits her story was false.
Nothing.
But the lies and manipulations didn't matter. It was too late. The Pentagon had written a perfect television script, and that's what remains in memory.
So, you got another side to the story. Boy, and this is the BBC, because what, they're going to lie to you this week, you know? We are lied to often enough by them. But the interesting thing was staged events. Hollywood productions. I think it was Bruckhiemer. That's right, for you video lovers. Remember the word Bruckhiemer. So here's where the BBC says, gee, well, we proved the whole Lynch thing was staged.
In over there. I said, no, there aren't any. There is no force in there or anything.
All the same, America's finest warriors descended on the building.
We hear the noise of helicopter, the sound of helicopter, and I think that the helicopter land here on the grass.
Like a film of Hollywood, they cry and go, 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 shout, go, 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 with guns and with the blanks, without bullets, blanks and sound of explosion, and broken the door. We are very scary.
We are surprised at that time why they do this. There is no military, no Iraqi soldier in the hospital.
But the Americans took no chances, restraining doctors and a patient who was handcuffed to this bed frame.
And also the other hand, I don't know why they tied him. Why tied him? He cannot move. Why the American army tied him?
There was one more twist. 2 days before the snatch squad arrived, the doctor had arranged to deliver Jessica to the Americans in an ambulance.
Every time I want to go home, I want to go home. We told her, separately, secretly, in between I and she, I told her, I will try to escape you to American army. But I will do this very secretly because I lose my life. We put her in the ambulance with the driver and the worker of the hospital. Then we told him, go to American checkpoint. When he be near the American checkpoint, he shoot it by the American.
So a tense encounter, but no Iraqi troops. The Americans almost killing their prize catch by mistake. But the story had already passed into folklore.
They make a show for the American attack for the hospital. Action movies, like on Sylvester Stallone or like Jackie Chan, doing jumping and with shouting, walking the door, with the photos.
We asked the Pentagon to release the full videotape of the rescue, rather than its 5-minute edited version, to clear up any discrepancies. It declined.
Was there any resistance as the forces were going in?
I think that I will leave that story to be told in great detail when the time is right.
What injuries did she sustain?
Well, I'm not going to get into the specific injuries that she received. That's up to her and her doctors to discuss at the appropriate time.
Doctors now say she has no memory of the whole episode, and probably never will.
I understand that there's some conflicting information out there, and in due time, the full story will be told, I'm sure.
There are facts and there is a message. George Bush and Tony Blair knew how vital it was to get the message right, to present the war and the case for war. This is how it worked. Talk up the dangers.
The United States of America will not permit the world's most dangerous regimes to threaten us with the world's most destructive weapons.
Dismiss the doubters. Appeal to the hearts and minds. Trust us.
I do not seek unpopularity as a badge of honor. But sometimes it is the price of leadership.
Okay. So you saw that and you say, well, gee, this is just the real story. What do these people know? Well, how about, we'll give you a little bit of Pat Tillman now. This is, quote, the real Pat Tillman. So you know what he was like, the kind of guy he was. I actually think he was a great stand-up man, a great stand-up American. He was just lied to, like many Americans. But here you go, the real Pat Tillman. A little piece just so we can discuss, you know, Pat afterwards.
Pat Tillman, the Arizona Cardinals safety, was known for his fierce tackles.
Shoots it over the middle, and wow, what a hit! Pat Tillman knocked the helmet off of Isaac Byrd.
Unbridled spirit on the football field.
Here we go, baby, let's go! Okay, I'm just saying, initially we were at 6. Right. Rob, stay Rob.
And as the unflinching patriot who, driven by the events on 9/11, gave up his multi-million-dollar career to volunteer for military duty and died in Afghanistan.
Yet as much as Pat Tillman loved competing on the football field, he loved America even more.
He's become a symbol of all those American soldiers who have sacrificed their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. But now, these letters to his wife Marie and his personal journal, seen publicly here for the first time, reveal that in the year leading to his death, he'd come to have serious doubts about the way America was fighting its war on terror.
My life at this point is relatively easy. My job is challenging, enjoyable, and strokes my vanity enough to fool me into thinking it's important.
Tillman's wife turned the journals over to John Krakauer, the best-selling author, who has written a book piecing together Tillman's tragic story.
Who does this? Who takes a perfectly perfect life and ruins it? A perfectly happy wife and marriage and jeopardizes it? Ah! If I do not strangle someone while I'm here, I was touched by an angel.
Tillman and Marie were married only a few days when he enlisted. By July 2002, married just 2 months, he was in boot camp.
As always, Marie is on my mind. I've been unable to speak with her since we've been here, and I miss the sound of her voice.